and putting it in a non-violent scenario. So we want a game where parents can play with their kids. We want a game where brothers and sisters can play together without the kind of toxic environment of things like Call of Duty. That's right. So where we started, where we were at last semester. So this is what the game was looking like our last final presentation. So we're using, we've been doing a lot of prototypes just with simple objects. So the character was just a little cylinder running around. Where we were at midterm this semester, Sinjin talked us into switching it to more of a night scene. So we could play with a little bit more mood, really focus in our attention on the lit areas. It looks a whole lot better. And we started switching out, so we've actually got characters in there. We hadn't done any sort of a UI pass on it yet, so everything was just quick sketches on top of it. And so this is where we're at now. So we've done more of a UI pass. This is our customization screen. Once it goes further along, we'll have a store over on the left where you can purchase new outfits, new abilities. And then over on the right is where you can equip those. So you've got your different slots for your abilities. You've got your stats for how that's going to change you. And on the far right, that's where your skill tree will be. So this is what the level's looking like now. This is our kind of lobby view. So when you join the game, it's going to be a view like this, and so it's kind of overview of the map, so you can kind of get your bearings as you're waiting for other members to join. And then up here, there's little markers that start popping up as more members join. And after 15 or 20 seconds, the game tosses you in with everyone. And then in here, we're gonna, between now and game day, we're going to put in a little bit of like kind of tutorial information. Maybe some like little arrows pop up, like these are your abilities. See how many people are on your team. You know, keep track of the time. So you got 20 seconds while they're in here to start informing them about the game. And then once you're in the game, third person, anywhere that you see these little arrows, that's something that you can parkour over. So you can run up this and then shoot up the wall. If you're up there, you can jump the railing and hop down. You can see back here, there's a few more in the little shop. So we wanted a very interactive environment. We've got little physics simulations on chairs and stuff, so as you're running, you nick a chair, because you took a corner too sharp, that'll go kind of flying. And trying to make it so the world feels very alive, and the world is something that is kind of, it's your playground. We want to make sure that everything feels fun to traverse, and that, you know, just because there's a wall there doesn't mean that's an obstacle. That just means something you can use to try and get away. So what we're up to right now. Right now is mostly just bug fixes. Our main goal for between midterm and now was just working on UI and making sure that the kind of user flow for the game was all set up, and then making sure that the actual usability of the game was set up. So we had a lot of, you guys remember, we had a lot of connection errors during the last presentation. So we've been working really hard on getting all that laid out. And so you just hop in and you wait in the lobby, and then you're in the game. So in our playtests this last week, these are some of the things that people have found. So a lot of collision issues. So people were just hiding inside of trees, or they'd find an object that doesn't have a collider yet, and they just hide in there. There's a few where you can like squeeze between two colliders and go under the level and run around. And then there's some where you can just straight fall through the world and drop forever. which, if you have the teleporter that brings you back to a vending machine, people are using that as a tactic, so they just run off the edge of the world, fall for most of the match, and then shoot back up to the vending machine at the end. But it was great to see it in action with, I ran it in a number of my classes that I teach, so we had like 10 to 20 people playing each time, and seeing people just kind of jumping in, not too many connection issues, and most of the bugs were like little things like colliders and like why isn't this button working? Yeah. So the main things that we're focusing on before demo day: fix those colliders, giving abilities team colors. That was something that you don't really think about. But when there's robot, when 6 people release a robot and you've got a bunch of robots swarming around, you want to know which ones are on your team. There were a few freeze-ups that were happening, but Liang's done a bunch of stuff this week since I did the build, and I think those have fixed that. So in this next round of testing, we'll see if that's still a thing or if we've already fixed it. Refining the lobby experience. Right now you're just sitting there for 20 seconds just watching it. So getting the little tutorial pop-ups, making sure that it's giving the player information while they're waiting instead of just waiting. The score tracker is a huge one. We've been working on it for all of this semester, but it's still not quite working the way we want. So getting the score tracker in there working. So that's going to make it so when someone's being chased and they're close to each other, you're going to start racking up points. And if you escape that chase, you'll get all those points. But if you get caught, you don't get them. And things like when you use a droid, you will get a point if it catches someone. So things to add to the points, because right now it's just, are you hiding? Did you catch someone? And that's it. And then just some little cleanups. The future. So post USC and graduation, getting character customization in, online profiles, partnering with more charities. Right now, I need to put kind of a poster pass in there. We're partnered with Game Changers. And then reworking some of the systems to be a little bit more modular so we can, our ability system, it's really easy to customize different abilities, but just kind of extending that to every other system in the game. Getting a little bit more ambient NPCs in there so that way there's a little more life to the world. And then one of the big feedback things people wanted was emotes. People love their emotes. And then some people asked for BMing, which, terrible. So, thank you guys for everything. You guys have been great. All right. Let's bring this over. So this is our new menu screen. A couple things we're going to add in here is kind of like a little splash effect to kind of blend the colors a little bit more. We've got our settings. This will be a little display of what the hotkeys are. We click on our character customization. We can set up our different abilities. These aren't set up yet, but once the skill tree stuff's all running, you're able to kind of switch out which abilities you're kind of putting more power into. And then there'll be different classes up here. Be weird playing up on that. So this is the lobby screen I was talking about. And so it holds you here while people join. So up at the top you can see the little blue and red markers change. So right now we've got 2 hiders and 1 seeker. And so the seekers will spawn over there. And like I said, like the main thing is making it feel like you can kind of traverse over most things in the world. They're chasing each other over there. I'll just be the third person camera over here. Oh, someone just got caught. Oh, so he just got tagged, so now they're both after me, including the robots. So if you follow your robots, they'll sniff out whoever you're chasing. The little teleport I'm doing there is the blink ability. That's so cute. I play this a lot. Okay.
Nice. What's game lobby?
And then, yeah, this shows where everyone's got everyone's score.
When do we get chat?
No chat.
Okay, put it on list.
No chat.
Okay.
No chat. That's where toxic environments come from.
Oh, emojis.
Emojis, yes.
Good.
Emojis and emotes.
What's your
Discrimination
discrimination?
is toxic environments. And then one of the problems early on was when you quit, it was hard to get back into a game, and so all that's been figured out, and so you can just keep playing game after game. So yeah, that's the project.
All right, nice job.
Questions? Oh, that's not Photos' hand. You always have questions. Go.
Oh, I always have questions. So the plan is fully networked. What have you learned? Tell us what you've learned about latency issues and frame rate.
Latency issues I learned is that mostly the latency is not caused by the network connection itself, like how many data you send, but it's determined by because we are a peer-to-peer game, so our game is hosting on one of the pairs computer. So the things happen is that the server simulation running circle is determining the latency issue. It's not the network connection. So a good idea is to keep everything separate so they can change their values, sync their values separately. So instead of like making the server to run the whole cycle and then give them feedback at the one time. And also, so that's it. And also the time you need to synchronize different data is different. So for example, the time we can synchronize it 1 second per time or something like that. But for the transform, we need to synchronize it 8 times per second or something like that. So make sure that you synchronize different data at their requirements, not always thinking of things like this.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Since it's peer-to-peer, would you be considering split screen? Since at a home you might not have two PCs.
Yeah, that's something I would love at some point, but I haven't like looked into it. I've done split screen stuff in Unity before, and it's super easy because you can just set up 2 cameras and tell it to go 50%. But we haven't actually tried it with this because that's one of the big driving forces for it is like parents and their kids playing or brothers and sisters playing. So that's one of the big things that I want in there at some point.
How many people can play at the same time? Like in the same server?
6 or 8. I think it's set up 8 right now.
So it sounds like you've got quite a few plans to take this going forward, especially with the connection that you have with the charity. I'm just wondering, how can we support you in that endeavor?
Well, I love this question on everything. I don't know. So it's really going to depend on like if I can get some sort of. So either going to need some people willing to go through some bootstrapping with me, or if I can make like some solid connection with a publisher. So the charity, they work really closely with the publisher, and they want to make that connection there. So that's very possible. And then the other hard part, like Dale's still in school for another year, and Liang's got a job waiting for him back in China. And so, yeah, so no programmers. So give me programmers. Programmers are money. Yeah, so that's what's gonna decide what happens with it in the future. I can do that.
You are.
Yeah, any other questions? All right.
Since you are laser focused on making a game for children, I want you to be sure that you are cognizant of making sure that both your website and the game is COPPA compliant. For those of you who don't know, COPPA is the Child Online Privacy Protection Act, and one of the things that game developers often struggle with is things that we ordinarily don't think about, which is if the child isn't supposed to have an email, how does the child register for a site? And so you have to create some kind of a parent-friendly and parent-facing web page that will allow them to sign their child up for an account.
Yeah.
So study up. I'll send those to you. Study up on those rules, and it should be
You can just make it 14 and up.
That is actually something that people do. Facebook is famous for like, hey, if you're 13 and under, you're supposed to have a Facebook page.
Yeah.
And if you do, it's not on us. So it's always not a bad strategy.
Yeah, it's been something I've been, like, so we had a monetization class, and so it's something that they covered a lot, and something that I've been trying to figure out, because, you know, a game like this, you'll usually have a lot of in-game monetization, but you can't monetize someone under 14.
Exactly.
And so, one of the options that some games will do is at registration of the game, if someone's under 14, it'll like kind of cut out that monetization ability. And so you put in your age. Don't think you can. I don't think you can have their name. You can't force people to put in their own name.
No, in fact, many of those sites actually assign a fictitious name to the child.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that'll be a fun one to figure out.